Welcome to another episode of the APX Podcast. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to prepare for an interview. So this video is going to be in two parts. And the first part, I'm going to be talking about more of the environment, the equipment, and moreover, the aesthetics that you're going to need to improve before an interview. So first and foremost, try to find an area or room within your house that is quiet. What's more important is we don't want people coming in and out in that room or in a place where you can hear cars passing by or tricycles or someone cooking or someone taking a shower. Try to find a quiet place which is isolated and with minimal sounds as low as possible. So the next part is in that quiet room, make sure you have good lighting. We don't want to have you in the interview with a dark environment. The more that the client can see you, the better you could give a really good impression. Now, if the quiet room that you found has bad lighting, then it's time to invest in good lighting, meaning you can go to the hardware, find one of those floodlights, which will probably set you back probably 300 to 500 pesos. But at least because of that good lighting, you're going to give a really good impression during your interview. Don't buy any of those super high-powered floodlights or lamps or spotlights. We don't want anything that's too harsh on the face. They'll make the background and your face look too washed out. So try to find the right amount of lighting and make sure you set it up within your room and find certain corners of your room where it could fit. Now, here's a tip from one of my videographer friends. If the light is too harsh and it doesn't have a controller to dim out, try to put like a white t-shirt on it or a darker t-shirt just to control the lighting on your shot. Next is with the equipment that you have, whether it's a desktop or a laptop, make sure that you have a good webcam. Now, if your laptop or desktop doesn't have so much of a great webcam, then lighting can compensate on that. So even with a bad camera or a bad lens, with the right amount of lighting, you can be sure that you'll have a great shot so long as the shot is not too dark. Next equipment you need to prepare is your microphone. So whether you're using a laptop or a desktop, you could find one of those good earphone microphones or a headset with an extended mic in which you could connect and test with good quality. So the next bit you need to set up is your computer itself. A lot of VAs make the mistake to have a lot of applications open and running while they're in an interview. Try to close down all applications just like Facebook or anything that's not relevant to the interview. If your interview is being conducted in Zoom or Google Meet or any other form of communications or any other application that's being used, make sure you close down any applications that's running that's not relevant to the interview, because these applications may interfere with either your internet connection or with the performance of the application you're using where you're being interviewed. So try to close down the applications that you don't need, thus that will lower the chances of having conflicts with the interview. Next thing that you need to prep up is make sure that you have good internet connection. If you are in an area where the internet fluctuates, make sure you have a backup internet connection, just like having it on data, just in case you get disconnected. Make sure to always check advisories from your ISP or internet provider, because most times we're not aware whether there's going to be an outage or some maintenance around your area. So always double check on their advisories, whether on Twitter or on their website. So the next bit I want to talk about is the aesthetics of your background. Make sure you set up your computer and webcam with a good background that's not too messy or cluttery. Find to try a setup that has a good background. It could be a stack of books, it could be a blank background, or it could be a background with a wallpaper. But if there's no area within that room that has a good background, then try to set up something like a curtain, which you could set up 2 stands and put a curtain, and try to pick a very plain color of the curtain. The less colorful, the better. So personally, I would prefer either black, white, dark gray, as those colors are very subtle, and so the interviewer can focus on yourself. So the next vital thing that you need to work on, since you have your background prepped up, is yourself. Even if we have our interviews online, it is very important to dress up. You need to present yourself in a very professional manner, meaning fix your hair, fix your attire, Wear something that's very presentable. Wear something that the client or interviewer would be confident in hiring you because of your good presentation. Remember, first impressions last forever. So here's a tip. There's no need to even dress up waist below because the only thing they're going to see is you with a good background from the waist up. So the next bit you need to set up before an interview is make sure you have a glass of water by your desk, somewhere where you could reach out and take a sip when needed. It's all right to take a sip during the interview, just so that you could clear your throat and speak properly. I wouldn't advise to have either juice, soft drinks. Water is the best thing to clear your throat during an interview. Probably the last thing you need to prepare is your emotions. Even before starting an interview, we all go through some emotional stress, meaning we get nervous, we get a bit of anxiety, not knowing what to expect during the interview. The best tip I could give to anyone applying to any job is to try breathing exercises. One of the best breathing exercises that I personally recommend is doing deep inhales, holding your breath for 3 to 5 seconds, then exhale from 5 to 10 seconds. Do this as many times as you can, and this will bring your nervousness and your anxiety lower. Of course, this requires practice. You don't need to do this before an interview. You could practice this at least a few hours before the interview until you feel relaxed and confident to get on the interview.